We have the fall equinox, we have a new moon, a full moon, we have the sun very, very busy throughout the month, and yes, we have a Mercury retrograde happening for the majority of the month. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I'm Tilly, and we're here to take a glance at September 2022. Now, September is the ninth month of the year, so it holds a nine energy to it. That basically means that we are ending, we are completing, we are making space for the new beginnings that we want to bring into our life. The new the new reality, the best life for us, for ourselves, for each and every one of us. To step into our dreams and passions, to become who we truly want to be going forward. So we are clearing that pathway. Now we have to add it to the yearly energy, which is a six energy, and we'll talk about the six energy because we're going to add those two numbers together and we go 9 plus 6, and that is a 15. A 15 energy, which boils down to the 6, which is why I said we'll talk about it at the end, because the yearly energy is a 6, and we have September carrying the energy of a 6. So it's a very strong energy throughout the month of September on our health and well-being, putting attention, putting focus on those things in our life. It could be our mundane day-to-day routines, absolutely. Relationships will definitely have its ups and downs and challenges and beautiful moments. And we see the path that we want to walk going forward. Now, that is the 15 energy. The 15 energy is about habits. That's the 6 energy, I should say. The 15 energy is about habits and behaviors, what we really want to change in our life, where we feel chained to an addiction, perhaps, and anything can be an addiction. Okay, we can get addicted to the silliest things. It's unbelievable. Or they could be very life altering habits and behaviors that we have. And so we need to get to know ourselves a little bit better and what we want for ourselves. And this is a beautiful energy in which to change some things in our life, bring in some healthy habits and behaviors. Perhaps you want to start meditating. Perhaps you want to start working out. Perhaps you want to start eating healthier. Perhaps you want to just change up your routine somehow. Look for a different job. Be of service within the community, within the family, within the neighborhood, within the world at large. So what does the numerology mean for us? The numerology means that we are gifted with an energy, absolutely, to want to change these habits and behaviors. But it also is there to teach us how to embrace that kind of change in our life, that kind of structure in our life, that kind of pushing us to be a better person, pushing us to be a better version of ourselves. Now, September the 9th, we start out with the Mercury retrograde, okay? It'll be stationary direct, or stationary retrograde. Oh my goodness, my brain stopped mid-sentence. Stationary retrograde. And we all know that Mercury being retrograde is nothing new, nothing different. It happens 2 or 3 times, or sometimes 4 times a year. I think it's 3 times. I think this will be the last Mercury retrograde that we have to experience for 2022, but here it is all the same. Mercury retrogrades are all about our voice, our communication. People say, oh, you shouldn't sign a contract or anything. If you are prepared and if the transaction started prior to the Mercury retrograde, then I would have to say, so long as you've done your due diligence, you just have to be extra sure. You just have to be extra careful. That's really, you're reviewing things, you're looking at things, you are understanding where you communicated inappropriately, where you really nailed something, where and how you communicate. And for what reasons do you communicate? Do you communicate with people just because you're lonely and you would just like someone to talk to, and that's how you use? Or do you network yourself? Do you build yourself up? So it's about looking at how we use our voice, how we use our language, how to use it more effectively, and when we use it, what happens. So we will be going through a Mercury retrograde and then it will come back through. But I think it goes all the way until like the very first days of October. We go into October, I know, with the Mercury retrograde, and then it probably goes reverse. So any time after September the 9th, you should journal, especially conversations, things like that, because chances are you're going to be walking back through that energy again. So you want to be aware of what you were saying, because even though you think that the subject might be closed, it's not closed. Also, during a Mercury retrograde, we mess up. We want to say one thing and it ends up reading as another. We leave words out because in our minds we said the whole sentence, and so we read it as the whole sentence, even though the other person is going, what do they even mean? So we're not clear, we're not concise. So it's not a good time to negotiate. It's not a good time to sign on the dotted line, because more information comes out in a Mercury retrograde to make us more aware of our choices and how we are going forward, where we are communicating effectively, where we need to communicate more, where we need to communicate less. The very following day, then, we get our full moon. Our full moon will be in Pisces. So really, Virgo, and the sun will be in Virgo. So really, that kind of energy is of being of service. And where are we being of service to others, our communities, the world, the collective? How are we doing this for ourselves? How are we taking care of us personally? How are we of service to not only each other, but how do we bring it back in? So that we can build our energy, that we can build our light, that we can build our vibrations, so that we can become stronger each and every day that we go forward. September 11th, the sun trines Uranus. Uranus, the only thing that is predictable about Uranus is that it's unpredictable. So anything can happen in your world, but because they're getting along in the sky, it's going to bring in some kind of magic into your life, some kind of wonderful moment in your life. Okay. September the 16th, then the sun will pop over and talk to Neptune. Once again, very favorable communication happening there. So it's about our dreams and our fantasies and our wants, our desires, our goals. It's about our dreams. It's about wanting to go forward with a beauty, with a harmony of creating and allowing our creativity to flourish, allow our inner child to flourish, allow our spirituality to flourish. I mean, it's just, in so many ways it can be so wonderful for each and every one of us. The sun will then go over and trine Pluto, and Pluto is our warrior. I mean, that's death and rebirth. And we'll be agreeing with Pluto. We will be saying, yes, I want this in my life. Yes, I'm willing to take the risk. Yes, I'm willing to go into battle for it. Yes, I'm willing to take on the challenge. Bring on the lesson. Let me walk through that hard energy, because I can do it right now. And it's where we learn to embrace our courage and our strength so much more, and realizing that we have so much more than we really gave ourselves credit for going into that kind of energy. The sun will then conjunct Mercury in retrograde. So it'll be a shining light on where we mess up when we are trying to communicate, whether we are texting, emailing, talking eyeball to eyeball, trying to get our word out there, trying to get our message out there, trying to get people to buy into what we want, and so that they will support us and love us going forward. So that spotlight comes in, and because it's in retrograde, really pay attention to the conversations you're having and how your voice changes. And we could do that little thing about reading a sentence different ways, putting the comma in different areas to have a different meaning altogether when you said those 5 words. So how are you saying it, and do you have an impact behind your words? and how do we gain that impact. And then we go into the new moon in Libra, so that obviously meant the sun went into, I think the sun goes into Libra, and then boom, we have that new moon. So it's like the same day, maybe. I think it's the same day the sun conjuncts Mercury retrograde. So wow, is that ever going to be about our voice? And it's where we stand in our independence. It's where the new moon in Libra, it's like, I think it's at 2 degrees. So the sun and the moon both just get there, and it's like, hey, I didn't know you were coming here. And they chat it up and they get along. And even though the sun is right there on top of Mercury, which means the moon will be there right on top of Mercury, and our voice will be illuminated to how we use our voice to bring in beauty, of how we bring in maybe compromises. Do we give part of ourselves away in that compromise? It's about standing true to yourself. Obviously, when you're making a compromise, you always want it to be a win-win situation. You don't want to give a part of yourself away, your energy, your time, your resources, unless there's a balance in there somewhere for you. So, but it's about bringing beauty in. It's about bringing harmony into your life. It's about seeing beauty around you and noticing the beauty in yourself, in others, in your environment. So it should be a spectacular new moon. And then right after that, the sun is going to oppose Jupiter, which usually means that our ego got the best of us and we thought we were, doing it all on our own, and maybe not being grateful for the help we get from God, our angels, our spirit guides, the collective energy, the cosmos, the universe, that divine energy that surrounds us all, that higher energy. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say. So, yeah, our egos kind of get a little bloated. We think we're better than we are. We think we're doing it all on our own. We're pushing the ballot, and Jupiter pushes back and said, what is this expansion of abundance, of happiness, of joy, of creativity? Why is it you want this in your life? Could be of love. What defines you as a person? So yeah, all at one time, right? With the fall equinox, with the autumn equinox, we have Mercury, the sun, and the moon all sitting together, just meeting up in Libra. And we really want to identify with where the harmony can be in our life, where we need to make compromises or surrender. Decision making will be incredibly hard for us. We will see every side of that. We'll see both sides of the coin. I guess there's only two sides really to a coin, so we can't see more than that. Okay, look at this. We have the Eight of Swords here. So this is about our perceptions really changing, evolving during the month of September. Pull that card out instead of having to hold up the whole thing. But, here we are, and we are in this cage-like thing. And it's our perception, where we thought we were trapped, where we thought we couldn't move forward, where we thought that, we were caged from going forward on our path. Deep breaths, back it up a little bit, understand your situation. Where are you now? And look at the now in your life before you decide to go forward, because the now in your life tells you that your hands are free. Just take off the blindfold. See what's in front of you. Really look. And you'll see ways that you could never have seen before how to go forward. It's like a light switch turns on and you can see the corners. You can understand that those swords were never in the ground that far anyways to hold you back if you really truly wanted to go forward. That whatever limitations you perceive to be in place aren't really there at all. And it gives you a strength, it gives you a power to move forward in new directions, new desires, passions, relationships. The Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands appears, and I'm going to tell my story. I haven't used it in a while. The card has come up and I have refrained, but I do have a lot of new viewers lately, and thank you for being here. So I'm going to tell the story. Okay, those 9 swords are the 9 wands behind you, the 8 wands behind you actually, are all tall and straight and sturdy, and there's foliage on each and every one of them. So you've walked all these paths in your life, and maybe you don't see the connection of those paths, but they were all meant for a divine purpose, and that is the wand you hold in your hand, the one that you are contemplating of going forward into. It's gnarled, it's stubby, there's absolutely no growth potential when you look at it. You know, it's kind of, can I do this? Do I have it in me? Do I have the passion? Do I have the strength? Do I have the courage to grab onto that dream, that desire that doesn't look like much of anything right now, and take it to the next level? Take it like those other ones behind us, because they all started out that way. So a young woman, she's 18 years old, and she's spinning thread, and she's making different yarns, she's making different strengths, she's making ropes, she's making different colors and different patterns and different textures of this thread. And one day her father comes in and he says, it's time to go and sell our threads and our ropes. And she said, okay, father. And she starts packing up. And he says, while we're gone, he says, it's time to find you a husband as well. Okay, father. And she packs everything up. And they set sail, and there is this massive, massive storm. And everybody perishes on this boat except for herself. She's washed up to shore. And as she's coming to, these abrupt, big, burly soldier kind of guys grab her, and they drag her to the market, and they put her up for sale. And a gentleman's kind of looking at her and thinking, you know, she could probably be useful to me, and I will give her a really nice home. She looks like a nice girl. And he purchases her, and he takes her home. And he starts teaching her how to make different materials, different weaving patterns, different kinds of tarps, textures, colors, patterns within the materials. And one day he finally says to her, it's time to pack up and go and sell our wares. And she says, okay, and she packs everything up, but the ship was overtaken by pirates, and she was taken as a slave. And they put her to work making the giant masts to hold the flags up, the sails up for the ship. And one day there's this horrific storm, and you got it, she's the only one, washes up solo on the beach. She gets up and she looks around and she looks up at the sky and she says, why? Why do you do this to me? Every time I accept where I am in life, every time I think, okay, I'm making some friends, I'm making a place for myself, there's safety, there's security, you do this to me. Time and time and time again. Please, why? Why are you doing this? And these 2 guards come walking up to her and they said, we have to take you to the emperor. And she says, of course you do. And away they go. And the emperor tells her about this story, this legend, that a single woman would be washed up upon the shores one day, and she would build the most amazing tents for the emperor, for all the world to come to see and admire, and it would bring great wealth and stature to not only the empire itself, but to the emperor himself. So he says, can you do that? And she says, yeah, probably. Yeah, I could probably do that. And he goes, wonderful. He says, what do you need? And she says, well, first we have to make the tarps for the walls and the ceiling and the rooms. And he goes, well, we have nothing like that. And she goes, don't worry, I can do it. I can teach people. So she gets together a crew and they build all the walls and all the fancy wear that will be there, the streamers. And then he says, "What do you need now?" She says, "Well, we need some rope. We don't have anything like that here. Don't worry, I know how to make it." So she went to work and they all made the ropes to tie down the tent. He goes, "Now what do you need?" And she goes, "Now we need the large poles to put up the ceilings, and it'll be a masterpiece. It'll be complete. But we don't have anything like those large poles you're talking about." She goes, "That's okay. I know how to make them." And so she gets to work and she makes them. The long story short, the tent goes up, and all the world comes from far and wide to admire these tents, and the stature of the empire is just raised dramatically, and the stature and the riches of the emperor raised dramatically. And so she's brought in front of the emperor again and says, "You've done this wonderful thing for me. How can I ever thank you?" And she thinks, and she thinks, and she says, "Well, a long time ago, my father and I set sail to find me a husband. So, a husband would be nice." And he said, "Marry me." And they lived happily ever after. Now, the moral of the story is sometimes we can't see why we have to endure certain paths, why we have to learn certain lessons. But there comes a time when it all comes together and it actually forges the way that nobody else could have walked because they didn't have our life experiences behind them. The Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is about celebration. So a lot of good news can come in with the sun getting along with so many of the big planets. This is kind of an obvious card to come out in the middle. Isn't it though? It's about happiness. It's about joy. It's about seeing with clarity and knowledge and understanding. It's about knowing your next step. It's about celebrating who you are, the moment. It's about rejoicing. It's about getting together with friends and family and having parties and dancing and smiles and laughter and joy. But usually when that card comes out, it means good news. So good news for all. At some point, each and every one of us will be receiving some kind of aha moment, some kind of epiphany, some kind of congratulations, some kind of promotion, some kind of gain worth celebrating. Our next card is Temperance. So, Temperance is having more by having less, absolutely. So, please remember that. And September being a 9 energy, it's a really good time to get rid of the clutter. It's a really good time to, I think the stats are like 80% of what we own we don't ever use. It just sits there. So, everything is energy. So, get rid of that clutter, get rid of that stuff that holds no energy for you, that moves you forward in the right direction, to make room for the energy that will, the things that will. Okay, so get excited about cleaning out that closet, decluttering the garage or the attic or the basement or that spare room. Well, it used to be a spare room until having more by having less, and finding a true balance. Now, this could be the clutter in your life, but it could also be where you're working too hard and the family life is suffering, or your spirituality is suffering, or your friendships are suffering, or just your own personal downtime is suffering. And finding the balance there, the true balance that's right for you. Okay, it might be statistically you should be doing this for 8 hours and this for 3 hours and this for 5. But it's finding your own true balance, your center, how you feel grounded, how you feel that peace of mind come over you, that everything is in balance, that your life is a little bit more where things are going well in several, if not all, areas of your life. That only happens for brief moments, by the way, because we're human and we're here to learn. Now, the other thing about the Temperance card is it's the card for blacksmiths. And so if you can imagine a blacksmith heating up that forge, getting the embers as hot as possible, and waiting for that flame to turn that brilliant purplish blue. Because then he knows, and only then does the blacksmith knows, that they can put that piece of iron in and twist it and bend it and hammer it and temper it into what it is going to become. And so for temperance to be out in this reading tells me that in some way the sun talking to so many of the big planets is going to temper us. It's going to bring in those lessons. It's going to bring in a couple of challenges. It's going to bring in a little bit of awareness to how we can move forward and tempering ourselves to who we want to become, molding ourselves to who we want to become, what we want our reality to be, how we want our best life ever to show up at our doorstep. One more card, you say? Okay. Oh, look at this. The Hierophant is out. So a balance. Absolutely. We had temperance, and this is about our spirituality and our knowledge. Okay. The Hierophant has wisdom, sage wisdom. And since this card represents you, and it's towards the end, so it tells me that your wisdom, your sage wisdom, will grow throughout this month. You will gain more knowledge, more awareness, more clarity, more understanding. Maybe of yourself, maybe of a certain thing, maybe of the world at large. But you get some answers to those questions that you needed answers to in order for you to take the next step and the next step and the next step and beyond. This is about taking time to meditate, taking time to be prayerful, taking time to contemplate where you are and where you want to go. And asking God, your angels, your spirit guides, past loved ones to assist you with your path in every way possible. And don't forget to thank them when they do. Okay, we will pull out a mantra card for the month of September. Oh my goodness. They're flying. They're alive. They're alive. Oh my gosh, are they ever alive? Should we take that card? Choices. Make the best choices. It didn't turn over, but it's separated from the rest of the deck. So make your own choices. Make the best choices. Well, let's go to the book and see what it says for choices. But we do have free will. And just because the energy is definitely there for you to embrace and utilize doesn't mean you necessarily have to. But I would advise you to. So human nature comes with the greatest responsibility, free will, to make the choices and to accept the consequences of one's actions, words, and thoughts. Everyone makes the choice to accept situations as they are or take the responsibility to change them. Make the decisions that are best for you, and you will never be able to please everyone else. Choose your actions based on your own personal values. Regret nothing. Your choice determines the consequences. Regret nothing. Okay, when you make a choice to participate, to include yourself, to step into that environment, and you got 15 people trying to pull you back and, oh, you shouldn't because of this, that, and the other thing, it's your choice. It's only your choice. And you're not going to be able to please everybody that is around you. So make the choice for you personally, especially with the sun being so incredibly active this month. You know, usually there's different planets come in and out and they all do their little thing. But this month, the month of September, the sun is beaming for us. The sun is the I am. The sun is about our creativity. The sun is about our outer existence, what we do, our toys, our laughter, our talents and abilities and utilizing them, our strength and courage and confidence and utilizing them, and really standing up and say, hey, take notice, because this is who I am. I'm amazing, I'm wonderful, and I'm going forward. So making the best choices and making choices that are for you and you alone, not what's going to make your spouse happy, the children happy, your parents happy, the neighbors happy. Making choices because they will make you happy, that they will bring in peace of mind, that they will bring in the next step and the next step and beyond. So your choice determines the consequences. The mantra is, I take responsibility for my choices. We'll get an animal card. I don't know if I really like that mantra, to be honest with you. I take responsibility for my choices. Isn't, of course we do, because we have to walk the path that we chose to walk. So of course we do that. Through my choices, I bring in success each and every day. How's that? I make wise choices that brightens my path, that raises my energy, that lets my confidence shine, that lets my talent shine, that moves me forward in the direction that I'm going. You got it. Okay, who do we have? Oh, the fox. The clever little fox is here to talk to us. Oh, if I can get it clear. It's a hard one to read. I can read it backwards, but you are clever and smart. You are swift and smart. Solutions to problems are easily found. Always listen to your instincts. Resources surround you. Be open to romance. I expected a little bit more with the cards about romance, but maybe something that I was talking about, you were thinking about your love partners, your best friends, the people that you are close to, the people you care about the most in those relationships. So you are swift and you are smart. So no, we had the Hierophant here to say that we're smart and that we are gaining sage wisdom throughout the month of September. So know that even though you are already incredibly smart and clever, you are going to gain even more knowledge, wisdom. And it's really going to come to you the month of September. So take notes. Solutions to problems are easily found. So a little bit of meditation, a little bit of contemplation, perhaps a little prayer, and you're being able to go through your strength of your wisdom that you've already walked and really pull pieces out of that wisdom and utilize in your path going forward. And you may unknowingly do this. Your subconscious just might put it all together in a package, and you say something and then you walk away and you went, wow, that was good. Where did that come from? Wow, I couldn't have practiced that better. It's your wisdom. You don't even know that you are tapping into it. But your subconscious is putting it all together for you so that you can, when you need to say something, it's strong, it's definite. When you need to make a decision, it's strong, it's precise. When you need to step into a challenge, you know how to take it on and walk through it with a confidence, with a strength, with a beauty. Always listen to your instincts, your gut. Your gut feeling will tell you. If you go within, you will find the answer, because your gut is going to tell you. You pay attention to your emotions, how you're feeling. Pay attention to your body. Are you relaxed? Are you smiling? Are you tense? Are you breathing shallowly? Pay attention to these things. Are you getting upset? Are you getting angry? Are you confused? Are you sad? Are you sad and happy at the same time? Why is that? Resources surround you. Be open to romance. Resources surround you. So know that as you need those tools, as you need to fill your toolbox, you will come along any resources you need. Once again, talk to God, your angels, your spirit guides. Tell them to bring it on in. You're ready for it. And keep walking, keep doing, keep becoming. And be open to romance. So create a little bit of romance in your life. Go out on a date if you're single. And ask friends, of anybody who's looking to just go out for a night and have a dinner and maybe some dancing, or just I want to get out and I just don't want to do it by myself, and it'd be nice to have some companionship and have a little bit of a beautiful time, a sensual experience within the environment between the aromas and what your eyes are taking in, the the atmosphere, and create the beauty around you. And if you are with somebody, then a couple of times of doing a date night is definitely appropriate under the September energy for us. Okay, we are going to do a Journey of Love card because these cards are just phenomenal. They seem to bring everything together that we've been talking about, and they sum it up. I can't do them justice by going away from the book, so I go verbatim on this one, people. Okay, but if you're ever looking for this deck, there you have all the information you need. But just a remarkable deck and a remarkable job putting together a deck. Or I seem to think so. So Journey of Love is, yes, definitely about loving others, but more importantly about loving ourselves. And our card is Beauty 58. Beauty 58. So let's go to the book. I'll read the poem first, and then we will go into the write-up on the card. How many times I've looked in your eyes and sailed away beyond my dreams to a sheltered thought on a quiet beach where sand is soft as flour. You may never know this place, and someday, when you look in my eyes, I will tell you. To celebrate the divine feminine is to honor her beauty, her endless bounty, and abundant creativity. You are a vehicle of her beauty. This is radiance that has nothing to do with your soul destroying cultural stereotypes based on physical appearances. It is the radiance that comes from feeling beautiful within, of allowing all that you are to shine through and be witnessed in the world. You are being asked to let the inner beauty become one with your physical self. You don't have to change the way you look to become more of the divine beauty that you are. You just need to change the way you look at yourself. Behold the divine within you. You are in the process of healing past wounds about your appearance, your body, your sexuality, finding purity in all of yourself and becoming ready to share that with others in a deeper and more open way, without shame, without self-criticism. Take your time and fall in love with what you are. Then you can become not the victim of another's own projected shame, but the love necessary for shame of the world to heal. This oracle indicates a significant change in self-perception. Wow, is everybody going back to the first card? This oracle indicates a significant change in self-perception taking place within you, an ability to love and accept yourself more completely than you ever have before, quite simply because you have grown and there is more divinity awakened in your heart than ever before. The nature of the divine is love, and you are realizing that you don't have to change to be beautiful. Allow this development to grow swiftly. Embrace your uniqueness, beloved. You are an exquisite flower in the heavenly garden. In the heavenly garden. So, it's really about knowing who you are and how you want to go forward, what you want to step into, your passions, your dreams. So pick up that gnarly old wand, that stump, and grow it into a miraculous pathway forward for yourself. The best life for you, created one step at a time. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.